Sing Hinei Ma Tov with us.
Hinei ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim. You want to go faster? Hinei ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei ma tov,
Hinei Ma Tov.
la 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 la.
Hinei Ma Tov, Hinei Ma Tov.
La 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 la. Hinei ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Chag sameach.
Chag Sameach. You
Woo,
know,
it's good to be in the sukkah.
I was going to say one of my favorite parts of the Jewish calendar is when you go into the synagogue or you go into the shul and you see the decor has changed. And what usually happens at Sinai Temple is we see the white flowers and we see our Sifrei Torah wrapped in white. And what's I just find stunning is usually the few days later when it's time for Sukkot, the entire main sanctuary, the part of the bima is changed for
Beautiful
the decor of
flowers.
Sukkot. And we see oranges and yellows and fall colors. And I thought to myself, I wonder what it will look like this year. And we thought to ourselves, well, the best place to change the decor is to be in the decor, be in the sukkah. And so as you can see, we are in Pilot Plaza. We're in the Monkarsh family atrium. And our maintenance team is just incredible as they helped us put up our sukkah and helped us decorate. And truly, this is a chidur mitzvah. This is a beautification of a mitzvah.
If you're hungry, you can have some grapes
Yeah, if
or
you're
apples
exactly.
or pears.
It's not Yom Kippur anymore. Last time I was here, we couldn't eat or drink, but here we get to experience Man Simchatenu, the time of our joy. So we hope that you will joyfully pray with us as we sing Elohai Neshama, page 99.
Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Neshama, Shenatata bi, Shenatata bi, Tehorahi, Tehorahi.
Please rise for our morning blessings, page 103.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lazech v'vina alav v'chimen yom v'ein laila. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani betzalmo. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani ben chorin. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, pokeach ivrihim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, malbish arumim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, matir asurim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, zokef kefufim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, rak haaretz al hamayim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamichim mitzadei gaver. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asali kol tzorki. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, ozer Yisrael b'gevura. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, ozer Yisrael b'tifara. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, anoten le'yawev koach. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamvir sheina me'einaynu, am yafapai. Baruch atah Adonai, gol chasadim tovim lamo Yisrael.
You may be seated. We continue on page 113. The psalm for the season of repentance were found towards the beginning of that page. Achat Sha'alti.
Achat Sha'alti me'et Adonai otavakesh. Achat Sha'alti me'et bebeit Adonai kol yemei chayai lachzot benoam Adonai ulevaker beheichalo lachzot benoam Adonai ulevaker beheichalo.
For those in mourning or observing yard site, we'll ask you to please rise as we recite the Mourner's Kaddish, found on page 121. Page 121. Yit gadal ve'ikadash shemei rabba be'alma divra kerute v'yamlich malchute b'chayechon uvyomechon u'chayidechol beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevarach le'olam olamei amaya. Vit barach, vit tabach, vit paar, vit roman, vit nase. Vit hadar, vit ale, vit halal, shemei de kudisha, brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush bechata v'nechamata. Da amiram be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. V'imru. Amen. Osei shalom bimromav, hu ya'asei shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, bimru.
Amen.
Amen. I'll ask everyone to rise for Baruch She'amar, page 122.
Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 yai la 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 yai la 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 la. Baruch she'amar be'haya ha'olam baruch hu. Baruch Omer ve'osei Baruch Ozeru Mekayem.
Baruch merachem haaretz, Baruch merachem ha'abriot.
Baruch Mishalem Zachar Tov Lireav, Baruch Chaylad V'kayam Lanetzach.
Baruch
It's the heat.
You're so proud of me.
I'm so proud of us. And we're so proud of everybody here that's joining us this morning, of course.
Page 134, Tzadik Katamar Yifrach.
Tzadik Katamar Yifrach, Yifrach, Tzadik Katamar Yifrach. Tzadik Katamar Yifrach, Yifrach, Tzadik Katamar Yifrach. Ke'erez balvano niske, Ke'erez balvano niske, Ke'erez balvano niske yiske. Ke'erez balvano niske, Ke'erez balvano niske, Ke'erez balvano niske yiske.
We are going to begin our Shacharit service. We're found on page 147 as Cantor Feldman leads us from the sanctuary with Mr. Ariel Cohen. We're found on page 147 with Shochen Ad.
Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach. Shabbat Shalom.
I miss being all together, but we're back
Me
here.
too.
The sanctuary is empty again. What can we do?
We fill it with prayer.
We do. Ha'el betatzumot uzecha, hagadol b'chvod shemecha, hagibor lanetzach, v'hanora benor re'otecha, hamelech hayoshev al kisei rav v'nisa, shochen ad marom v'kadosh shemo. וכתוב רננו צדיקים באדוני, לישנים נאוות תהילה, בפי ישרים תתהלל, דברי צדיקים תתברך, ובלשון חסידים תתרומם, ובקרב קדושים תתקדש, ובמחלות רבבות עמך בית ישראל. להודות, להלל, לשבח, לפאר, לרומם, להודל, לברך, להלל ולקלס, על כל עברי שירות ותשבחות, דוד בן ישי, עבדך משיחך, ישתבח שמך לעד מלכנו. ברכות והודעות מעתה ועד עולם, ברוך אתה אדוני, אל מלך גדול תשבחות, אל ההודעות אדון הנפלאות, הבוחר בשירי זמרה, מלך אל חיי העולמים.
Please rise, middle of page 148.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועלמא דברה קדותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בגלל בזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשם, בריחו ואלה מכל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירנה בעלמה והימרו אמן.
Page 149, Baruch.
Yala la la la, 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 yala la la la. Barechu et Adonai, Amevorach, Baruch Adonai, Amevorach, leolam vaed, leolam vaed. Yalalai, 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 yalalai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam yotzer or uborei choshech oseh shalom uborei et hakol.
We continue on page 150.
אין קרקך אדוני אלוהינו בעולם הזה, ואין זולתך מלכנו לחיי העולם הבא. אפס פרטך גואלנו לימות המשיח, ואין דומה לך מושיענו לתחיית המתים.
151, Eladon.
אל אדון כל המעשים, ברוך ומבורך בפי כל נשמה, גודלו וטובו מעלה עולם, דעת ותבונה סובבים אותו. אמין גואל החיות הקודש, ונדר בכבוד על המרכבה, זכות ומישור לפני כיסו, חסד ורחמים לפני כבודו. טובים מאורות שברא אלוהינו, יצרם בדעת בבינה ובשכל, כוח וגבורה נתן בהם להיות דמות מושלים בקרב תבל, מלאים זיו ומפיקים נוגה, נאו זיבם בכל העולם, שמחים בצאתם וששים בבואם, עושים בהם רצון קונם, פאר וכבוד נהונים לשמוע, סולה ורינה לזכר מלכותו, קרא לשמש ויזרח אור, ראה והדגים צורת הבנה, שבח נונים לו כל צבא מרום, תפארת וגדולה, שרפים ואופנים וחיות הקודש, יאללה לה 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 לה, יאללה לה 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 לה, יאללה לה 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 לה, יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה 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 לה.
אלא ששבב כל מעשים ביושית, הלב בסדר, כזה גבוה. תתברך משה על שבח מעשה ידיך ועל מאורי אור שעשית, יפרוך הסלע.
Page 153.
וכולם פותחים את פיהם בקדושה ותורה, בשירה ובזמרה ובזמרה, בשירה ובזמרה ובזמרה, ומברכים ומשבחים ומפארים ומעריצים ומקדישים וממליכים. כולם כחדונים ואומרים ביראה, קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלך כל הארץ כבודו, ואבנים וחיות הקודש ברעש גדול, מנסים לעומת צרפים לעומתם משבחים ואומרים ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אור חדש על ציון תאיר, ונזכה כולנו מרע לאורו. אור חדש על ציון תאיר, ונזכה כולנו מרע לאורו. ברוך אתה אדוני יוצר המאורות.
We continue on page 154, middle of the page as we gather our tzitzit in preparation for the Shema. V'havienu l'shalom.
V'havienu l'shalom.
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 V'havienu l'shalom. Me'arba kanfot ha'aretz. Adonai, Abocher b'mo Yisrael be'ava.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
This is your prayers.
למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
We continue on page 157. We understand that the lighting in the sukkah has shifted, which means it's natural light. So we hope that you appreciate the idea of prayer in a sukkah and bear with us. You may not be able to see us as well, but that's also kind of the point of the sukkah, that we exist within God's shade, which is another metaphor for our faith in God. So it's not that we're shaded, but it's rather that we're shaded by faith. Page 157, we continue with Cantor Feldman.
לדור ודור הוא קיים שמו קיים בחיסון אחור מלכותו ומונתו לעד קיימת. הודינו ומצילנו מעולם שמך אין אלוהים זולתך. עזרת אבותינו אותם מעולם. ממצרים גאלתנו אלינו.
We continue in the middle of page 158.
תהילות לאל עליון ברוך ומבורך משה ומרים ובני ישראל הכנו שירה בשמחה רבה ואמרו כולם מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נהדר בקודש נורא 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 תהילות עושה פלא מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נהדר בקודש נורא 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 תהילות עושה פלא שירה חדשה שיבחו גאולים נשימך אספת הים יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ואמרו מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נהדר בקודש נורא 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 תהילות עושה פלא אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נהדר בקודש נורא 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 תהילות עושה פלא עושה פלא צור ישראל קומה בעזרת ישראל ופדחנו ממך יהודה וישראל כהן אדוני צבאות שמו קדוש ישראל ברוך אתה אדוני כל ישראל.
We turn forward in our Can you hear me okay? We turn forward in our Sidurim for our Amidah for Yom Tov, which also includes insertions for Shabbat. We're found on page 306. 306, for which we rise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim ve'Konei HaKol וזוכר חסדי אבות ומביא גואל לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה ולחוזר ופוקד מושיע ומגן ברוך מגן אברהם ופורקי צרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה מתים אתה רב להושיע. מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו אישי יחד. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים.
Page 308.
נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו, בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ כבודו. אז בקול רעש גדול, אדיר וחזק, משמיעים קול. אז בקול רעש גדול, אדיר וחזק, משמיעים קול. מתנשאים לעומת צרפים, מתנשאים לעומת צרפים, לעומתם ברוך יאמרו, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. ממקומך מלכנו תופיע, ממקומך מלכנו תופיע, ותמלוך עלינו, ותמלוך עלינו, כי מחכים אנחנו לך. מתי תמלוך בציון בקרוב בימינו, לעולם ועד תשכון. תתקדל ותתקדש בתוך ירושלים עירך, לדור ודור ולנצח נצחים. ועינינו תראנה, תראנה מלכותך, כדבר האמור בשירי עוזך. על ידי דוד משיח צדקך, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהיך ציון לדור ודור. הללויה. ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהיך ציון לדור ודור. הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודל לך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. יל מלך גדול וקדוש אתה, ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Amen. We remain standing for the silent recitation of the Amidah, offering our own reflection and prayers, which continues through page 314, making sure to include the insertions for Sukkot and for Shabbat.
This morning on the first day of Sukkot, the one thing that we do not do, like we did not do on the first day of Rosh Hashanah, is the most popular thing. On Rosh Hashanah, we did not blow the shofar. On the first day of Sukkot, we in fact do not take out our lulavs to shake, but rather we do fulfill the commandment of Ahayita Ach Sameach, that we should be happy. The Torah commands us not just only what to do, but rather also in this moment what to feel. And we know that we continue to feel that joy even during our vulnerabilities and most fragile moments in a temporary dwelling of a sukkah. And we do that through music and praise. And so therefore we turn to page 316. Page 316 for the next 7 days where we recite the Hallel service. Rise if you are able. Page 316, the cantor and Aria lead us in the Hallel service.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Hashem Kirshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu nikro et Hallelujah, 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 Avdei Adonai. Hallelujah, 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 et Shem Adonai. Yehi Shem Adonai mevorach, me'ata ve'ad olam. Yehi Shem Adonai mevorach, me'ata ve'ad olam. Mekimim yafad al meshpot yarim evyoneho shivim nedivim im nedivei amo moshivi akeret abayit eim avanim semecha hallelujah.
Middle of page 316.
בצאת ישראל ממצרים, בית יעקב מעם לועז, הייתה יהודה לקודשו, ישראל ממשלותיו, הים רב וינוס וינוס, הירדן יסוב לאחור, הערים רקדו חנים, גבות כבני צאן, מה לך הים כי תנוס, הירדן תיסוב לאחור, הערים תרקדו חנים, גבות כבני צאן, מי נבנה אדונך לי הארץ, מי נבנה אלוה יעקב, אחי הצור הגמיים, חלמיש למיינו מים, בצאת ישראל ממצרים, בית יעקב מעם לועז.
Top of page 317.
ישראל בטח בטח בנונה עזרם עזרם ומגינם הוא בית ארון מתחו בתחו אדוני עזרם ומגינם הוא ירא אדוני בתחו בתחו אדוני עזרם ומגינם הוא Adonai zecharanu yevarech, yevarech, yevarech et Beit Yisrael, yevarech et Beit Aaron, yevarech Yirei Adonai, haketanim im hagedonim, Yosef Adonai alechem, alechem ve'al bneichem, beruchim atem Adonai, oseh shamayim v'haaretz, hashamayim shamayim l'Adonai, v'haaretz natan livnei adam, lo ametim yehalleluya, ve'lo kol yordei duma, v'anachnu nevarech ya, me'ata ve'ad olam, me'ata ve'ad olam, hallelujah.
Page 318.
Et halech lifnei Adonai be'artzot hachayim hemandi ki adaber ani timeod hemandi ki adaber ani timeod ani amarti bechobzi kol adam kozev ashiv lamei kol tagmulo hi alai Lecha ezbach zevach toda v'shem Adonai ekra nedarai l'Adonai Hashalem negdana lechol amo bechatzerot beit Adonai betochech Yerushalayim Hallelujah.
319.
Hallelujah et Adonai kol goyim shabechu kol haomim ki gavar aleinu chasto ve'emet Adonai leolam. Hallelujah. Hodul Adonai ki tov ki leolam chasto. Hodul Adonai ki tov ki leolam chasto. Yomar na Yisrael ki leolam chasto. Hodul Adonai ki tov ki leolam chasto. Yomru na beit Aaron ki leolam chasto. Hodul Adonai ki tov ki leolam chasto. Yomru na yirei Adonai ki leolam chasto. Hodul Adonai ki tov ki leolam chasto. Min ha'meitzar karati anani b'merchavya.
In a few moments, we will be on page 320.
Pitechu li sharei tzedek avovam odeya ze Yashar l'Adonai tzadikim yavovo Odecha ki anitani vatehiri li Yeshua Odecha ki anitani vatehiri li Yeshua Even matzu habonim haytan lerosh bina Even matzu habonim haytan lerosh bina Meit Adonai hayet azot hi niflat beinenu Meit Adonai hayet azot hi niflat beinenu Ze ayom as Adonai nagina v'nismechavo Ze ayom as Adonai nagina v'nismechavo Adonai Hoshiana Adonai Hoshiana Adonai Hatzlichana Adonai Hatzlichana Baruch haba b'shem Adonai beirachnuchem mi beit Adonai Baruch haba b'shem Adonai beirachnuchem mi beit Adonai El Adonai vaya'el anu Yisru chag ba'avotim ad karnot hamizbeach El Adonai vaya'el anu Yisru chag ba'avotim ad karnot hamizbeach Eli ata ve'odeka Eloi aron memeka Eli ata ve'odeka Eloi aron memeka Odul Adonai ki tov ki leolam chasto Odul Adonai ki tov ki leolam chasto
Page 321.
כי לך להודות ולשמך נאה לזמר כי מעולם ועד עולם אתה אל ברוך אתה אדוני מלך מעולם לבת משפחות
Yasher Koch, Yenter, and Mr. Cohen. Beautiful. We realize an echo on our end. I don't know if you hear it or not.
I don't hear an echo in my headphones, but
Well, that's good.
That doesn't mean
I
anything.
think on YouTube they do, so we're trying to fix it. Although I don't hear it right now. Do you, Rabbi?
I don't either.
I think we might be good. It might be a Hallel miracle. We're found on page 321 with Kaddish Shalom.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה בעלמא דברה קירותי והמליך מלכותי בחייכון ובמכון ובחייך ובית ישראל בעגלה בזמן קריב והימרו אמן יהי שמי הרב המברך לעלם לעלמי עלמיה יתברך ויתשבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלף תלש מקודשה בריחוננה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירם ימה והימרו אמן תתקבע צדודון ומלכון כל ישראל כל דם ובונה וישמע והימרו אמן יהי שלום הרבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל והימרו אמן עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל והימרו Amen.
Once again, Yasher Koach, and we continue in our service with Seder Kriyat HaTorah, the service for the taking out of our Sifrei Torah this morning. We have several Torah readers and full Aliyah, which is exciting. Wonderful to have full congregational participation this morning and tomorrow. We are found on page 322.
אין כמוך ואלוהים אדוני ואין כמעשיך מלכותך מלכות כל עולמים וממשלתך בכל דור ודור אדוני מלך אדוני מלך אדוני מלוך לעולם ועד אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום אב הרחמים היטיב ברצונך את ציון תבנה חומות ירושלים תבנה חומות ירושלים כי בך לבד בטחנו מלך אל רם ונישא אדון עולמי.
Please rise as the ark is open. We're found on page 322.
ויהי בנצוע אהרון ויאמר משה קומה אדוני ויפוצו אויביך וינוסו משנאיך מפניך כי מציון תצא תורה כי מציון תצא תורה ודבר אדוני מירושלים ברוך שנתן תורה תורה ברוך שנתן תורה תורה לעמו ישראל מקדושתו
Ribbono Sha'olam, Master of the universe, ingrain within our hearts the fragility of the Sukkah and the comfort of your ongoing protection. When we see people hungry in this world, guide our hands to give. When we know that loneliness exists within our homes, encourage us to reach out. God, as you are our source of permanence in a vulnerable world, allow us to be someone else's rock, someone else's stronghold, a foundation of hope. And let us say, Amen.
Velish me Kaddish yakira ana emar tush bechan beyanarachet Velish me Kaddish yakira ana emar tush bechan Ra'ava kodamach V'tiftachni b'me'oraita V'tashni mishalin delibi V'li barechol amach Yisrael V'tavu lechayin v'li shalom Amen. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shemo Hallelujah Raiti Uneromema Shelo Yaktav Lecha Adonai Hagenuna V'Hagevura V'Hatiferet V'Hanetzach V'Hahod Ki Chol Bashamayim U'Va'aretz Ki Chol Bashamayim U'Va'aretz Lecha Adonai Al-Mamlacha Ve'Amidah Zeh Lechol Erosh.
Yamale Mishaloteinu v'midato v'yeshua v'rachamim.
Shabbat Shalom, Jay. Good morning. Great to see you. In just a moment, we'll begin our Torah reading. We are found in Parshat Emor for our first Sefer Torah. The Aliyah is found on page 723. 723, chapter 22, verse 26. And just quickly, it's funny because Rabbi Sherman said, I'm going to say something before Hallel, and he and I actually kind of were thinking on similar topics. What's the reason, or what is a reason as to why we are allowed to partake in having a sukkah on Shabbat? So being in the sukkah, eating in the sukkah, praying in the sukkah on Shabbat, but not use a lulav and an etrog. And I read this morning that one of the reasons is because on Shabbat, it's something that we wake up into. Shabbat's not something that we create on that exact day or we take a hold of that day. Shabbat is just a blessing that we have the ability to enjoy every single week. And similarly to the sukkah on Shabbat, we don't create the sukkah on Shabbat. It's not like we take a hold of the poles or a hammer or a nail. There's nothing that we basically grasp onto. We kind of wake up into it, especially for those that sleep in the sukkah. You literally wake up in the sukkah. It's a blessing that we get to enjoy, and not necessarily a blessing in which we are doing something active. And so what I take from this is that I actually wanted to say it right before Hallel. I don't know if you heard this, but I heard sirens right before Hallel, or it might have been right before the Amidah. And I thought to myself, it's something that we take for granted. When we need help, we call 911 or we call someone and help arrives at our door. It's a blessing that arrives for us. And so I want us on this Sukkot, I know it's a little hard to hear over the traffic, but on this Sukkot, just to think for a few moments on this Shabbat, what are the blessings that arrive at our doorstep? Blessings that we don't often think about, blessings that we might otherwise take for granted. And with that, we begin with the first Aliyah. Once again, we're found on page 723, verse 26. And Jay will be reading the first Aliyah for us, and the Biedermans will have the first Aliyah.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך,
Baruch Adonai Baruch Leolam Ba'ed.
לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים, ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen.
Amen. Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lemor. Shoro kesevo es ki valed v'haya shivat yamim tachadimo umiyom hashemini v'hala yeratzeh korban ishel Adonai v'shor ose oto ve'etno lo tishkatu b'yom echad v'hi tizbechu zevach todah l'Adonai Nirtzonechem tizbachu bayom hahu yeyachel lo totiru mimenu ad boker ani Adonai ushmartem mitzvotai va'asitem otam ani Adonai v'lo techalalu et shem kochi v'nikdashti betoch b'nei Yisrael ani Adonai mekadishchem hamotzi etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai.
ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת, וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, נותן התורה.
Amen.
Amen. Yasher Koach to the Biedermans, and we just feel so valued by your presence in our community and by your leadership. And for the second Aliyah, hi, Dr. Brooks.
Hello, Shabbat Shalom, Chag Sameach.
Shabbat Shalom, Chag Sameach. It's so great to see your smiling face. We're so happy to have you within our sukkah this morning. And the second Aliyah, for everyone who is following along, we're found on page 724, chapter 23, verse 1. Jay Harwood will be reading the Torah for us this morning. And as you can see, Dr. Brooks has the Aliyah. So Dr. Brooks, whenever you're ready.
Baruch hu et Adonai המבורך.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Leolam Ba'ed.
Baruch Adonai המבורך לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים, ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen.
Amen. Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lemor. Daber b'nei Israel v'amarta alehem moadei Adonai asher tikru otam mikrai kodesh elehem moadai sheshet yamim teasem melacha uvayom hashvi Shabbat Shabbaton mikra kodesh kol melechet avodah lo tasu Shabbat hi l'Adonai bechol moshvotechem.
ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen. Yasher Koach to Dr. Brooks.
Thank you.
Dr. Brooks, I think that when you and I went out to lunch, it might have been right before the pandemic
It
began.
was.
And so I miss seeing your face in person, but it's lovely to see your face participating and your voice participating in our service in this way. We miss you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Rabbi. Thank you.
We continue with the next Aliyah, page 725. 725, chapter 23, verse 4. Nora, there you are.
Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi. Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach to you too. Shabbat Shalom. Nora, when you are ready with the first part of the Aliyah.
Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Natan Lanu Mikol Ha'amim Natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Eile moadei Adonai mikra'ei kodesh asher tikru otam b'moadam b'chodesh harishon barba'a asar lachodesh ben harbayim pesach l'Adonai v'chamisha asar yom lachodesh hazeh chag hamatzot l'Adonai shivat yamim matzot tochelu b'yom harishon mikra kodesh yiyeh lachem Komelechet avodah lo ta'asu. Bikravtem yishel Adonai shivat yamim bayom hashvi mikra kodesh. Komelechet avodah lo ta'asu.
Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Natan Lanu Torat Emet V'chaye Olam Nata B'tochenu. Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Now, Nora, besides being an integral part of our community, which you are, we also wanted to celebrate the fact that this past week you became a great grandmother for how many times? The sixth time? The sixth time. Great grandma to a brand new baby girl. So we just wanted to wish you a mazel tov, and we'll have, I believe, parents, Ben and Roxy, next week with involved in our service, but we wanted to wish you a mazel tov on this beautiful occasion.
Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you.
We continue in our service with the fourth Aliyah. The fourth Aliyah is found on page 725, chapter 23, verse 9. And hello, Nitzbergs.
Hello.
Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach. I know. And when you're ready to continue with the Aliyah.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Ba'ar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lemor. Daber el bnei Yisrael v'amarta lehem ki tavo el haaretz asher ani noten lachem u'kutzartem et kitzira v'havitem et omer rishit kitzirachem el hakohen v'heiniv et haomer lifnei Adonai lirtzonchem mimocharat hashabbat yinifenu hakohen va'asitem b'yom hanivchem et haomer Keves tamim ben shnato la'ola l'Adonai u'minchato shnei esronim solet pululav hashemen isher l'Adonai reach nichoach v'niskol yayin revi'it hahin v'lechem v'kaliyah v'charmel lo tochalu ad etzem hayom hazeh ad haviachem et korban Elohechem hukad olam v'dorotechem b'chol Moshvotechem.
Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Natan Lanu Torah Emet V'chayei Olam Nata B'tochenu. Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Edie and Steve, we wanted to wish you a mazel tov, a belated mazel tov, on your anniversary last month. When did you celebrate your anniversary? September
11th.
September 11th. And how many years?
60.
60 years. We wish you a mazel tov and many, many more years of happiness and health together. And we wish you a Shabbat Shalom.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We continue with our next Aliyah. We're found on page 726, verse 15. And we continue with the Mosenens. Hello, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Chag Sameach to both of you.
Thank you.
Whenever you're ready with the Aliyah.
Baruch et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher בחר בנו מכל העמים ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen.
Amen. Usfartem lachem yimokorat hashabat miyom haviachem et omer hatnufa sheva shabbatot mimot tehiyena at mimokorat hashabat hashvi'it tisperu chamishim yom vikravtem min chadashat ladonai mimoshvotechem taviu lechem tenufa shtayim shnei esronim so letihiyena chametz teafena bikurim ladonai vikravtem ahalechem shiva kvasim tamimim b'nei shana ufar ben bakar echad be'elim shnayim yiyu ola ladonai uminchatam b'nishkehem ishe reach nichoach ladonai va'asitem ziruzim echad lechatat ושני כבשים בני שנה לזבח שלמים, והניף הכהן אותם לחם הביקורים תנופה לפני אדוני על שני כבשים קודש יהיו לאדוני לכהן וקראתם בעצם היום הזה מקרא קודש יהיה לכם כל מלאכת עבודה לא תעשו חוקת עולם בכל מושבותיכם לדורותיכם ובקוצריכם את קצירתכם לא תכלה ועצתך בקוצריך ולקט קצירך לא תלקט לעני ולגר תעזוב אותם אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen. We just want to say that in your family, we have so many generations of your family here at Sinai Temple, and we hope you just switched over here in my screen. We hope you know how much we value having you as members of this community. Dora recently sent us a note and reminded us that even through a screen, we can connect on a spiritual level. And we thank you for that reminder because it lifts our soul as well. And so on this Chag HaSukkot, on this holiday of Sukkot, we wish you much joy and much health.
Thank you,
Thank
and
you,
to you,
Rabbi.
Rabbi. Thank you.
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
And for the next Aliyah, hi, Russell.
Hi, Rabbi.
Wonderful to see you. And we're so happy you're here on Shabbat and on Sukkot. The next Aliyah is found on page 727, chapter 23, verse 23. And I believe Sharona Rahmani will be reading for us. Hi, Sharona. Perfect.
Hi.
Perfect. Okay, Russell, whenever you're ready.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'nasan lanu es toraso. Baruch atah Adonai nosein haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lemor. Daber el bnei Yisrael lemor. B'chodesh hashvi'i b'chad lachodesh yeh lachem Shabbaton zicharon teruah mikra kodesh כל מלאכת עבודה לא תעשו, והקרבתם משל אדוני. וידבר אדוני אל משה לאמור, בעשור לחודש השביעי הזה יום הכיפורים הוא מקרא קודש יהיה לכם, וניתם את נפשותיכם, והקרבתם משל אדוני. בכל מלאכה לא תעשו בעצם היום הזה, כי יום כיפורים הוא לכפר עליכם לפני אדוני אלוהיכם, כי כל הנפש אשר לא תאונה בעצם היום הזה, ונכרתה מעמיה, וכל הנפש אשר תעשה כל מלאכה בעצם היום הזה, והעבדתי את הנפש ההיא מקרב עמה, כל מלאכה לא תעשו, חוקת עולם לדורותיכם, בכל משפטיכם, שבת שבתון הוא לכם, וניתם את נפשותיכם, בתשעה לחודש בערב, מערב עד ערב, תשבתו שבתכם.
Yasher Koach.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher nasa lanu toras emes, v'chayei olam atah b'sochenu. Baruch atah Adonai nosein haTorah.
Amen. Yasher Koach to you, Russell. We also wanted to wish you and Mourner a mazel tov, because just about a month or so ago, or 6 weeks ago, you became grandparents for how many, Russell?
Only the second time.
For the second time. And only the second time, amazingly the second time. So we wish you both a mazel tov. You two are dear members of Sinai Temple, and the fact is that we miss seeing you on a regular basis, and we're thrilled that we can see you in this way. Wish you a Shabbat Shalom and a Chag Sameach.
Shabbat Shalom, Chag Sameach.
And we continue with the 7th Aliyah. Marilyn Stern will be reading for us this morning, and we have the Cosgroves who will be reciting the Aliyah. And there's Marilyn in her sukkah. Hi, Marilyn. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
And hello, Cosgroves. Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach.
Shabbat Shalom, Chag Sameach.
We are found on page 729, chapter 23, verse 33. And Cosgroves, when you're ready.
Baruch Hu es Adonai HaMavorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMavorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMavorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu es toraso. Baruch atah Adonai nosein haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayidaber Adonai el Moshe Lemor. Daber el Bnei Yisrael Lemor. Bahamisha Asar Yom Lachodesh HaShvi'i Hazeh HaKasukot Shivat Yamim Ladonai Bayom Harishon Mikra Kodesh Kol Meleket Avodah Lo Ta'asu Shivat Yamim Takrivu Ishet Ladonai Bayom Hashemini Mikra Kodesh Yihye Lachem V'hikravtem Ishet Ladonai Atzereti Kol Meleket Avodah Lo Ta'asu Elet Moadei Adonai Asher Tikra'u Otam Nikra'e Kodesh Lahakri Vishe Ladonai Ola Umincha Zevach Unisachim Devar Yom B'Yamo Milvad Shabbatot Adonai Umilvad Matnotechem Umilvad Konidrechem Umilvad Konidrotechem Asher Titanu Ladonai Bahamisha Asar Yom Lachodesh Hashivi Ba'osbochem Et Tivu'at Haaretz Tachogu Et Hagadonai Shivat Yamim Bayom Harishon Shabbaton Ubayom Hashemini Shabbaton Ulukaktem Lachem Bayom Harishon Puri Eitz Hadar Kapot Tamarim Anaf Eitz Avot Va'arbe Nachal Usimaktem Lifnei Adonai Elohechem Shivat Yamim V'hagotem Oto Hag Adonai Shivat Yamim Bashana Hukat Olam L'Dorotechem Bakodesh Hashivi Tachogu Oto Basukot Teshvu Shivat Yamim Kala Ezrach B'Yisrael Yeshvu Basukot L'man Yiteu Dorotechem Ki Basukot Hoshafti Epinei Yisrael V'hotzii Otam Me'eretz Mitzrayim Ani Adonai Elohechem Vayidaber Moshe Et Moadei Adonai El B'nei Yisrael.
Yasher Koach.
Thank you.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu es toraso, v'chayei olam v'tav b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. First, Yasher Koach to the Cosgroves. You know, we're here in Pilot Plaza in the Monkarsh Family Atrium. And just a few weeks ago, we had Noah reading Torah here. We had Jason reading Torah here. And it just shows the incredible education and menschlichkeit you have nourished your children and your grandchildren with. And we're grateful to you for that and for your leadership. Yasher Koach to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Marilyn, it's clear that you knew that Torah reading very well. How many years have you been reciting Torah on Sukkot?
14.
14 years. So just such a beautiful tradition that you have brought here at Sinai Temple. And Marilyn is a dear member of our community and our sisterhood in particular. I also wanted to do a little plug. I hope it's okay with you, Marilyn, for our program, our sisterhood program on Tuesday evening, October 6th. It's still time to RSVP after Sukkot to join in our virtual Sukkah program. Any other details about that, Marilyn, that I should add?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock, and you're welcome to join us in a way in which we can share memories and recipes and ideas about who we would invite to our Sukkah. So we hope you'll join us for that event. And Yasher Koach, Marilyn, on a beautiful Torah reading, and you're reading for us tomorrow.
Thank you.
And we'll ask everyone to please pause with us and engage with us in a blessing of healing of Misha Berach Lecholim.
Misha Berach Avoteinu Abraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah Yivarech וירפא את החולים. אל נא רפאנה לה, אל נא רפאנה לה, אל נא רפאנה לה, אל נא רפאנה לה.
We extend a Misha Berach Lecholim, a blessing of healing, to Eliza bat Ruth, Mira bat Elena Ve'ari, Rachel bat Yehudit Be'Eliezer, Asher ben Asher, Dr. Arian Cook, Dr. Lisa Angelina, Shoshana bat Aharon Berivka, Basha Etiel bat Chanina, Yaakov ben Agdas, Colleen Diker, Chaim David ben Eliyahu Miriam, Racha Chana bat Sarivka, Chaim ben Kokab, Nachum ben Malka, Rachalea bat Chanachuna, Eva Kelemen, Menashe ben Shazansara, Michael ben Tova ben Eliyahu, Shoshana bat Chanachaya ben Ariel, Yehudit bat Liba Sibia, Geula ben Elazar, Bina bat Bracha. We also extend a Misha Berach L'Cholim, a blessing of healing to President Trump and First Lady Trump, and to the entire administration in Washington. And please, if you'd like to extend a Misha Berach L'Cholim, a blessing of healing for your friends and your family members, please feel free to say their name out loud. Feel free to type their name in our chat on Facebook or YouTube, and we will include their name in our prayers. Ask everyone to please rise for the recitation of the Reader's Kaddish.
Jay?
Yitkadav Yitkadash Shemei Rabbah Yamadi Varaki Rutevi Amlich Malchute B'chayechon Uv'yomechon Uv'chaye Decho Beit Yisrael Bagala Bagala Uvizman Kariv Bimaru. Amen.
Amen.
Yehi Shemei Rabbah Mevarach Le'alam Olam Me'omaya. Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpar V'yitromam V'yitnase V'yitadar V'yitalev V'yithalal Shemei Dekudesha V'richu Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'shirata Tush Bechata V'nechemata Da'amiran B'alma Bimaru. Amen.
We rise for the lifting of the first Sefer Torah by Jay. V'zot HaTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei b'nei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe. You may be seated.
Please be seated. Our Maftir Aliyah is found on page 934. 934, we are found in chapter 29, verse 12. Hi, Jason. Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach, Shabbat Shalom.
Since we didn't get a chance to hear Hallel from you this morning, but I know that we'll hear Hallel from you, I'm sure, in future months. Just making a plug for later on. We're so thrilled that we'll get a chance to hear you chant Maftir and the Haftarah for us this morning.
Thank you.
Chag Sameach to you, and when you're ready for the Aliyah.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Barach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Barach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Hamim V'natan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Notein HaTorah.
Amen.
Jay, you have the maftir for us?
Sorry.
No.
I thought you said that Jason was doing it.
I know. It's I apologize.
Okay. No problem.
I don't have a Torah.
We'll talk about that in a minute. Amen. Ufal-chamisha asar yom lakodesh hashavi'i mikra kodesh yeh lachem kol melechet avodah lo tasu v'chagotem chag l'Adonai shivat yamim vikraftem olah yishereach nichoach Adonai parim b'nei bakar shlosha asar elim shnayim kivasim b'nei shana arba'ah Kaddish b'nei shana arba'ah asar tamimim yehiyu uminchatam solet blula bashamen shlosha esronim lapar hayachad u'shlosha asar parim shnei esronim la'ayo hayachad l'shnei ha'elim bisaron isaron la'keves hayachad arba'ah asar kevasim u'sirizim echad chatat milvad olad hatamid minchata b'niskah. No vowels.
Ooh,
Oh.
thank you.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam notah b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Hey, Yasher Koach. We rise as
Yasher
the
Koach.
second Torah is lifted. Maybe an iPad, something if you have at home. V'zot haTorah. V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei b'nei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe. You may be seated once again as Jason's going to lead us in the Haftorah, found on page
1253. 1253.
We complete each other's sentences.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam asher bachar b'nviim tovim v'ratza b'divreihem hanemorim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai abocher b'torah u'v'Moshe abdo u'v'Yisrael amo Ubindiye haemet v'tzedek. Hine yam ba'al Adonai v'hulak shalalei b'kirbei ve'asfeti et kol hagoyim el Yerushalayim l'milchama v'nilkeda ha'ir V'nashasu abatim v'hanashim tishachavna v'yatsa hatzi ha'ir bagola v'yeterham lo yikaret min ha'ir v'yatsa Adonai v'nilcham bagoyim ha'hem Ki yom hilachamo b'yam karav v'yamdu raklav b'yam hahu al har hazeitim asher al pnei Yerushalayim yikedem v'nivka har hazeitim mechetzio mizracha b'yama Ge gedola meod umash hatzi hahar safona v'hetzio negba v'nastem geharai ki agia geharim el atzal v'nastem Ka'asher nastem mipnei harash bimei Uzziah melech Yehuda uva Adonai Elohai kol kedoshim imah v'haya bayam hahu Lo yihye or yikarot kifi v'kifaon v'haya yom echad hu yivadal Adonai lo yom v'lo laila v'haya la'et erev yihye or v'haya bayam hahu Yetzeu Mayim Chayim Yerushalayim Eitz Yam El Hayam Hakadmoni Behetz Yam El Hayam Aharon Bakayitz Uvachoreh Yihyeh V'haya Adonai Lemelech Al Kol Ha'oretz Bayam Ahu Yihyeh Adonai Echad U'Shemo Echad Yisov Kol Ha'oretz Ka'arava Migeba L'Rimon Negev Yerushalayim V'Ra'ama V'Yashba Tachteha L'Mishar Binyamin Ad Mikom Shar Harishon Ad Shar Apinim Umigdal Hanan El Ad Yikvei HaMelech V'yashvu Vaho V'cherem Lo Yikeod V'yashva Yerushalayim Laveita V'zot Tihye HaMagefa Asher Yigo Adonai Et Kol Ha'amim Asher Tzava'u Al Yerushalayim Hamek Bisaro Vehu Omeid Al Raglav Ve'enav Timakna V'chorehen Ulshono Timak B'fihem V'haya Bayam Ahu Tihyeh Muhumat Adonai Rabba Bahem V'heziku Ish Yadrehu V'alta Yado Al Yad Re'ehu V'gam Yehuda Tilahem B'Yerushalayim V'usav Kel Kol HaGoyim Saviv Zachav B'chesef Uvgadim Larov Meod V'hein Tihyeh Magefat Hasus Hapered Hagamal V'hachamor V'chol HaBechema Asher Yihyeh B'machanot Ha'hema Kamagefa Hazot V'haya Kol Hanotar Mikol Hagoyim Habayim Al Yerushalayim Yalu Midei Shana V'Shana L'Hishtavot L'Melech Adonai Tzivaot V'lachog Et HaGasukot V'haya Asher Lo Ya'aleh Mi'et Mishpachot HaOretz El Yerushalayim L'Hishtavot L'Melech Adonai Tzivaot V'lo Aleihem Yihyeh Hagashem Ve'im mishpachat Mitzrayim v'lo ta'aleh v'lo va'o v'lo aleihem tihyeh hamegefa asher yigof Adonai et hagoyim asher lo ya'alu lahog et hagasukot so tihyeh Chatat Mitzrayim, v'chatat kol hagoyim, asher lo ya'alu lahog et hagasukot. Bayam hahu yihyeh al metzilot hasus kodesh ladonai, V'haya hasirot beveit Adonai kamizrakim lifnei hamizbeah v'haya kol sir b'Yushalayim uvi Yehuda Kodesh Ladonai Tzavot Uva'u kol hazo v'hin v'lakahu mehem uvishlu bahem v'lo yihyeh Kanaani od b'veit Adonai Tzavot bayamahu Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam tzur kol haolamim tzadik b'chol hadorot ha'el haneman homer v'yoseh hamdaber umkayem shekol divorav emet v'tzedek neman atahu Adonai Eloheinu v'nemanim divorecha v'davar echad midvorecha Achor lo yashuv reikam ki el melech ne'eman v'rachaman ata baruch ata Adonai ha'el hane'eman b'chol divarav rachem al Tzion ki beit hayenu v'la'alu v'nefesh toshia bimheira b'yameinu baruch ata Adonai Misameh Tzion Bivanecha Samcheinu Adonai Eloheinu B'Eliyahu Hanavi Avdecha U'Malchut Beit David Mishichecha Bimhero Yavo V'Yagel Libeinu Al Kiso Lo Yeshev Zar V'Lo Yinhalu Od Acherim Et Kivodo Ki B'Shem Kodshecha Nishbata Lo Shelo Yikbeinei Ro Leolam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai Magen David
Amen.
Al HaTorah V'al HaAvodah V'al Hanvim V'al Yom HaShabbat Hazeh V'al Yom Hag HaSukkot Hazeh Shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu Likdusha v'lemnucha L'soson u'simcha l'chavod u'latiforet al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach umvorachim otach yitborach shimcha befi kol chai tamid leolam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai Kaddish HaShabbat Yisrael v'hazmani.
Amen. Yashar to Jason. Jason, we missed you in your makom kavua, in your fixed place, both in the chapel, a couple rows back from the door, greeting everybody, and also in the sanctuary as well. We look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you,
turn to page 177, the middle of the page, a prayer for our country. Our God and God of our ancestors, with mercy accept our prayer on behalf of our country and its government. Pour out your blessings upon this land, upon its inhabitants, upon its leaders, its judges, officers, and officials, who faithfully devote themselves to the needs of the public. Help them understand the rules of justice you have decreed, so that peace and security, happiness and freedom will never depart from our land. Page 178, a prayer for Israel.
Avinu, Avinu, Sheba Shamayim, Tzur Yisrael v'Kohalo. Avinu, Avinu, Sheba Shamayim, Tzur Yisrael v'Kohalo.
Avinu Shabbat Shamayim, stronghold and redeemer of the people Israel. Bless the state of Israel, that it may be the beginning of our redemption. Shield it with your love, spread over it the shelter of your peace. Guide its leaders and advisors with your light and your truth. Help them with your good counsel. Strengthen the hands of those who defend our holy land. Deliver them, crown their efforts with triumph. Bless the land with peace and its inhabitants with lasting joy. And let us say, Amen.
Avinu, Avinu, Sheba Shamayim, Tzur Yisrael v'Kohalo. Avinu, ישראל וגואלו.
Page 340, we return the Torahs to the ark. Yahalalu, we rise.
יהללו את שם אדוני, כי נשגב שמו לבדו. הונו על ארץ ושמיים, וירם קרן לעמו, תהילה לכל חסידיו, לבני ישראל עם קרובו. הללויה, ובנוחו יאמר, כי לקח טוב נתתי לכם, תורתי אל תעזובו. עץ חיים היא למחזיקים בה, ותומכיה מאושר, דרכיה דרכי נועם, וכל נתיבותיה שלום. השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה, חדש ימינו כקדם.
The Musaf Amidah is found in the middle of page 342. We remain standing, Chatzi Kaddish, followed by the Musaf Amidah.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה קירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחיי חון ובמכון ובחי לכל בית ישראל, בגלה בזמן קריב וימרו, אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעלם ולעל בעלמיה. יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי לקודשה. בריחו לאלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירה מעלמה ויאמרו, Amen. We join together for our Yom Tov Amidah with insertions for Shabbat, the Musaf service, page 343. 343. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות, ומביא גואל, לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר פוקד, ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ופוקד שרה. אתה הגיבור לעולם אדוני, חיי מתים אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים מרחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשהני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך מימית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים.
We turn to our Kedusha, page 345.
נריצך ונקדישך כסוד שיח שרפי קודש המקדישים שמך בקודש ככתוב על יד נביאך וכרז אל זה ואמר קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלוא כל הארץ כבודו. כבודו מלא עולם, כבודו מלא מלא עולם, משרתה בשונים, שונים זה לזה. איה מקום כבודו, איה מקום כבודו, לעומתם לעומתם ארוך ימינו. ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. ממקומו הוא יבנה ברחמים ויחונם המייחדים שמו. ערב ערב הבוקר בכל יום ותמיד, פעמיים באהבה שמע אומרים, שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד, הוא אלוהינו הוא אבינו הוא מלכנו הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו ברחמיו שנית. אדיר אדירנו אדוני אדוננו מדהיר שמך בכל הארץ וירון על מלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא ירונה אחד ושמו אחד ובדברי קודשך כתוב לאמור ימלוך אדוני לעולם אלוהיך ציון לדור לדור הללויה 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 hallelujah.
We join together for the door of a door, bottom of 345. As a reminder, all participants should have their microphones muted. Bottom of 345, the door of a door. Thank you, Dr. Brooks.
לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, נגיד כל אליך, ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך נקדיש לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, נגיד כל אליך, ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו, מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד, כי אל מלך גדול, מלך גדול, וקדוש אתה, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, נגיד כל אליך, ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך נקדיש. ברוך אתה אדוני. האל הקדוש.
Thank you to all of our wonderful friends and congregants for joining us for Lador Vador. It's so beautiful to see you all and to join together arm in arm in your own individual families. We continue praying privately the remainder of the Musaf Amidah, pages 346 through 354, including all of the insertions for First Day Sukkot and Shabbat. Please use this time for your private prayer. If you're still praying your Amidah, we invite you to do so at your own pace. On every day of Sukkot, we join in the special Hoshanot prayers. And today, since it is Shabbat, we will not be doing a full processional. There's no lulav and etrog, but we will still open up the ark as we turn to page 387 for the Hoshanot for Shabbat.
Hoshana, 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 lemancha Eloheinu. Hoshana, 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 lemancha boreinu. Hoshana, 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 lemancha kohaleinu. Hoshana, 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 lemancha doresheinu. Hoshana, Hoshana, Hoshana umetzura kebavat Hoshana, Hoshana borenet bedat nefesh meshivan Hoshana, Hoshana gomeret hilchot Shabbat Hoshana, Hoshana dorezet mazat Shabbat Hoshana, Hoshana hakovat alpayim techum Shabbat Hoshana, Hoshana u'mashivat regel mishabat Hoshana, Hoshana zachor v'shamor mekayemet b'Shabbat Hoshana, 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 Chashal Maher bi'at Shabbat Hoshana, Hoshana, Torachat Kol Mishishal Shabbat Hoshana, Hoshana Yoshevet Umamtenet Ad Kelot Shabbat Hoshana, Hoshana Kavod Va'oneg Korad Shabbat Hoshana, Hoshana levush v'chus uchsut machalebet b'Shabbat Hoshana, Hoshana machel mishte mechinat l'Shabbat Hoshana, Hoshana noam megadim mam enet l'Shabbat Hoshana, 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 Seudot Shalosh Mekayemet b'Shabbat Hoshana, Hoshana al Shetei Kikarot Botzat b'Shabbat Hoshana, Hoshana Poredet Arba Rishuyot b'Shabbat Hoshana, Hoshana Tzibui Hadlakat Ner Madleket b'Shabbat Hoshana, Hoshana Kiddush Hayom Mekadesh b'Shabbat Hoshana, Hoshana Renen Sheva Mefalenet b'Shabbat Hoshana, Hoshana Shivat Badat Korat b'Shabbat Hoshana, Hoshana Tanchilena Leyom Shekulo b'Shabbat Hoshana, 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 Hoshana,
turn to the middle of 391 for a rousing rendition of Hoshia et Amecha. Hoshia et Amecha uvarech et nachlatecha Murem, 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 venasem, murem, venasem ad haolam. Hoshia et amecha, uvarech et nachlatecha. Murem, 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 venasem, murem, venasem ad haolam. Hoshia et amecha, uvarech et nachlatecha. Murem, 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 unasem, murem, venasem ad haolam. Hoshia et amecha, uvarech et nachlatecha. Murem, 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 venasem, murem, venasem ad haolam. We turn back in our Sidurim to Kaddish Shalem, page 203, page 203, Kaddish Shalem. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divra kirutei ve'amlich malchutei, b'chayechon uve'mechon uve'chayercho beit Yisrael, b'agala v'zman karim ve'himeru, Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach, le'alam u'le'al me'almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpar v'yitroma v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei kudsha. Brichu leila min kol birchatav shiratav tushbechatav v'rechmatav da'amira mema v'himeru. Amen. Tika batzalot u'navar kol Yisrael kodam avonu v'yishmaya v'himeru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'himeru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav u'yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'himeru. Amen. Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach.
Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach. First of all, to all of you, I hope that you are beginning this Chag with some joy, despite all the difficulties in finding joy in this time. There are things to be joyful about, and that in some ways is exactly what I want to talk about. I realized, or I should say, I thought of something. I'm going to let you decide if it's a true realization about Sukkot this year that I never thought of before, and I'm not sure that the holiday has been discussed in these terms, but I'm going to give it a shot, which is that Sukkot is the PTSD holiday, the post-traumatic syndrome holiday. And I will explain to you, obviously, what I mean by this, but the more I thought about it, the more it seemed to me to have some real connection to the psychological wisdom of our tradition. First of all, remember that every holiday has every Chag has a agricultural and a historical dimension. I'm speaking now about the historical dimension of Sukkot. After Pesach comes Sukkot in the history, the biblical history of our people. And Pesach was trauma. It wasn't only trauma in terms of slavery, although that's enough trauma for anyone, but even the liberation was attended by a sequence of traumatic events. The plagues, the letting people go and then refusing to let them go, the standing before the sea and believing they would drown, the moving across the sea and then watching others drown in the sea, the facing the desert and not knowing if they would have food or water. All of Pesach is a giant experience in trauma. And remember, that being liberated can be traumatic, just like being enslaved can be traumatic. That experience, the experience of the collective trauma of a people, is something that Jews know well. Now think about the Sukkot holiday that follows the Pesach trauma. There are 4 or 5 dimensions, I guess 5, that I want to speak about that specifically address trauma that are tied in one way or another to Sukkot. The first is Mitzrayim was narrowness, tsar, that sense of being confined. When you come into the desert, you have space. Even the Sukkah is unclaustrophobic in its nature because it's fragile. These aren't walls that will contain you and keep you in and there's no escape. In fact, it's like a gentle house. It's a house where you don't feel, if I need to get out of here, I can't get out of here. Not only that, but because there is no covering on the roof, no full covering, there's only schach. Because there is no full covering on the roof, you can see outside the house. And therefore, from many different dimensions, it counteracts the sense of claustrophobia and narrowness that Mitzrayim had induced and begins to address the trauma of the narrowness of the previous experience. Second, remember that when they went out into the desert, there is one of 2 explanations for what the Sukkah means. The desert is one explanation, the harvest is another. The booths that we live in were for the harvest, and to some extent, representative of the booths that they lived in the desert, although it seems more that they lived in tents than booths in the desert by the description of the Torah itself. Ma tovu ohalecha, Yisrael. How beautiful are your tents, O Jacob. Bilam does not say, how beautiful are your sukkahs. But, say the rabbis, the sukkah in the desert refers to Sukkot Ananim, the sukkah of clouds that followed the Israelites through the desert as a covering against the brutal heat of the sun. So the idea that you're being taken care of, that someone is covering you, that you are not exposed, that there is a gentle shade over your head and over your life, that also is a calming from the traumatic experience of brutality of Egypt. And then third, the Sukkah reminds us that we are not alone. Part of the terror of trauma is feeling alone. But with the Sukkah, not only do you have other people in the Sukkah, but remember you invite in Ushpizim, the characters of history who share your experience and understand your fears. So this sense of community gathering around you, which Sukkot also encourages, because remember, in a normal year, you have people in your Sukkah. And perhaps you even do this year, but if you do, make sure they wear masks, please. But that idea is also a counter to trauma. And then the Sukkah is a unique mitzvah. It is a mitzvah that is shared only by another sort of counter-trauma mitzvah, which is going into the mikveh. Because the Sukkah and the mikvah are the 2 mitzvot that you do with your entire body. You immerse into a ritual pool completely, and you walk into the Sukkah completely. Nothing else involves all of you. You put tefillin on your arm, you pray, but you can say you pray with your whole body, but you use mostly your voice to pray. But a sukkah, you got to be all in there. And so, since we know that trauma is stored in the body, right? The great modern theorist and I guess healer of trauma, Bessel van der Kolk, his book is called The Body Keeps the Score. That is, when something happens to you, it is stored inside your physical being. And so all of you comes into the sukkah. All of you is covered. All of you experiences the love of God and the vision of the stars. And then finally, Sukkot is the only holiday, the only one whose name is an emotion. Zman Simchatenu, the time of our joy. Because what is it that trauma robs from us? It robs joy. And Sukkot enables us to feel joy, which is the sort of counter-trauma feeling. And so I think if we think about it, those of you who know much more about this than I may be able to think of other ways in which Sukkot nurtures somebody who's experienced trauma, maybe by the vision of nature, by being able to build something when you feel that the world has taken away your ability to create. There's a lot in Sukkot that is healing for those of us who have experienced some kind of trauma, whether it is the trauma of Egypt or the trauma of these past days of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, separate from one another, the trauma of all the shocks, both recent and over the last many years that our nation has endured, or personal trauma in one's own life. Whatever it is, Sukkot is here. Zman Simchatenu, to help, to heal, to connect to one another and to God, and to feel joy. Shabbat Shalom, which means a Sabbath of peace, and Chag Sameach, which means a holiday of joy. We continue our service this morning on page 204, Ein Keloheinu.
Yai lai lai yada lai 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 yada lai 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 yada lai lai yai lai lai yada lai 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 yada lai 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 yada lai lai Ein Keloheinu ein Kadonenu ein Kemalkeinu ein Kemoshienu mi Keloheinu mi Kadonenu mi Kemalkeinu mi Kemoshienu Yai lai lai yada lai 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 yada lai 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 yada lai lai Yai lai lai yada lai 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 yada lai 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 yada lai lai Nodel Eloheinu nodel Adoneinu nodel Malkeinu nodel Moshienu Baruch Eloheinu Baruch Adoneinu Baruch Malkeinu Baruch Moshienu Yai lai lai yada lai 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 yada lai 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 yada lai lai Yai lai lai yada lai 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 yada lai 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 yada lai lai Atau Eloheinu Atau Adoneinu Atau Malkeinu Atau Moshienu Yai lai lai yada lai 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 yada lai 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 yada lai lai לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום בהשבותם אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אינו. כי המלכות שלך היא, ולעולמי תמלוך בכבוד, ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
Ribbono Shel Olam, dear God, in love we remember those who no longer walk this earth. We are grateful to you for the gift of their lives, for the joys we've shared, and for the cherished memories that do not fade. This week we mourn the passing of Raphael Hayavi, husband of Nahid Hayavi, father of Dr. Michael and Dr. Kevin Hayavi, grandfather of Adam Alexander and Ari Hayavi, Simon Elliott, and Aiden Hayavi. Also, we recall the passing of A. George Reifman, husband of Blanche of blessed memory, father of Andrea Fenster and Edward Reifman, grandfather of Amanda Kogan, Monica Moreno, Katie Reifman, and Carly Reifman. And we recall the passing of Fran Zaloni, mother of Judy Parrott, David Zaloni of blessed memory, Karen and Dale Rhodes, and grandmother of Julie Stein and Nadiv Zaloni. And we recall the passing of Peter Parrott, father of Julie Stein, of Adiv Zaloni, and of Avery Parrott. And this week, we remember the yortzeits of Mokhtaram Afrahim, Mokhtaram Afdut, Monis Aliyah Shmerny, Rabbi Shimon Bar Lava, Sam Bergstein, Edward Berkowitz, Evelyn Berman, Daniel Bruchim, Meyer Biederman, James Bischoff, David Bleiberg, Shmuel Budai, Barbara Brownstein, Sonia Brooks, Fania Bruno, Serena Bunzel, James Klein, Louis Cohen, Herta Korper, Israel Korper, Amy Daneman, Manasha Ezrapur, Harry Feinerman, Max Gantz, Suzanne Garay, Sal Gendon, Philip Gepner, Miriam Harris, Luftola Hay, Ashag Hekmat, Abraham Huriani, Ralph Carlin, Ruhula Kashani, Sarah Kaufman, Elke Corito, Helen Landau, Ida Lazar, Gershon Lowenberg, Taub Lowenberg, Judith Lomibayo, Harvey Maller, Sally Lipwich, Musa Musavzadeh, Khalil Nahai, Victoria Nehorayev, Helen Nedavud, Janet Ornstein, Saul Rice, Ann Ressler, Nayara Sedara, Philip Rosenbaum, Arthur Rosenberg, Morris Rosenberg, Abraham Rosenwasser, Joseph Ross, Edward Rubin, Bograd Saadian, Dudley Salem, Sarah Bell Siegel, Mokhtaram Senehi Afrahim, Max Shapiro, Dolly Shapiro, Rahola Shanasa, Harry Sherman, Ashag Shokrian, Pearl Schulman, Iris Silverman, Brian Smason, Eva Stengel, Deborah Weisserman, and Myers Iber. May the faith that binds us to our loved ones be a continuing source of comfort as we ask those in mourning and those observing a yortzeit to please rise, to sanctify God's name in the words of the Mourner's Kaddish on page 207. Yit Gadal v'yit Gadash Shemei Rabbah, v'alma divrach hirutei v'amlich malchutei, v'chayechon uvyomechon v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevarach leolam uleomeh omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudisha brichu. Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechemata da'amiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim alenu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom alenu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May God grant comfort and healing to the hearts of all who mourn. And let us all say amen. I want to thank everybody who helped us today. Not only the rabbis, of course, Rabbi Guzik, Rabbi Sherman, also Cantor Feldman, Ariel Cohen, but also, of course, Jay Harwitt, who helps us in so many ways all through the year. And it was nice to hear Jason Kahan chant the Haftarah, and also to see all the Aliyot from all the different corners of our city, members who do Aliyot virtually, but also feel very close, not only during the Aliyot, but also during the rendition of L'Dor Vador, which is beautiful to see. Some of you have made appointments with the Sukkah to come and visit us in the Sukkah. If you have not during the week, perhaps you can call and try to find a time when you can come to the Sukkah. We are obviously spacing it out and only allowing a couple of people at a time from families to come in. But if we can accommodate you, we will. We hope that you have access to a Sukkah during this holiday, and that it is a Zman Simchatenu, a time of joy for you, for your family, for Israel, and God willing, beyond. And with that, it is my pleasure to go back to the Sukkah by the magic of technology, and back to Rabbis Guzik and Sherman, who are waiting nearby.
Okay, thank you, Rabbi Wolfe. Yasher Koach, and thank you. So just to give you a few more details about Sukkah visits, you're welcome to come visit the Wilshire Patio Sukkah during specific time slots, and we welcome you to email Rachel Polanski, R. Polanski. When you'll be able to find the exact email at SinaiTemple.org in the chat on YouTube and Facebook. We have openings Tuesday through Thursday. And if you email Rachel, she'll give you the exact timing of those visits. And during those visits, we hope that you'll bring a picture of you and your family that you'll be able to hang up in our sukkah, so that this truly becomes a Sinai Temple family sukkah. So that's visiting the sukkah. Also, the evening, as I mentioned, on October 6th, we have a sisterhood-led program open to the entire congregation. And what we would invite you to do, please find more information on our website, but 7:30 p.m., you'll be invited to our sukkah. And if you have a sukkah, we'll be invited to yours, learning about memories, ushpizin, and other rituals involved with Sukkot. Also, part of Sukkot is realizing how grateful we are, and we certainly are. And so we want to give back. Sinai Temple is hosting a blood drive in partnership with Cedar Sinai on October 6th and 7th. 6th and 7th from 8 to 2 p.m. on Tuesday, and October 7th from 12 to 6 p.m. You're welcome to come to Sinai Temple near the Holmby entrance to give blood. You need to be a member in good standing. And if you have more questions, you can email Rebecca Small at rsmall@sinaitemple.org about the blood drive. Additionally, starting yesterday, Sinai Temple is partnering with Sova in a food collection drive. We welcome you to bring non-perishable items, again, non-perishable items this entire week of Sukkot, to the Beverly Glen entrance. Additionally, we are collecting children's books. So if you have children's books and non-perishable items, we welcome you to bring that. On Monday, I know we have so many different things. On Monday, thank you, Marilyn. I apologize. The Sisterhood program begins at 7 p.m. And Marilyn, If you can also put where they should RSVP.
That was only to you.
I know it was to me.
Yes.
I know Marilyn's writing basic. Oh, hi, Marilyn.
Hi.
Marilyn, where can people RSVP if they want to participate in our October 6th, 7 p.m. Sukkah virtual event? Where can they RSVP?
Maybe they can contact Rachel, and
Okay,
then
so
we can let Judy Fisher know.
Fantastic.
And they don't really, I mean, it would be great if they RSVP'd, but they can just join us.
Okay, so you can also just join us. The information should be on our website, but to ensure that you receive the Zoom information, please email Rachel Polanski once again for October 6th, 7 p.m. Monday at 4:30, all of our Dor Kaddish age children, ages 0, let's say through age 8, age 0 through age 8, where you are invited to join Mora Diana Pakdaman in a sukkah decoration project virtually. You can use anything that's around your house, crayons, markers, a shoebox.
I'll be there.
Yeah, we are there. It's a great way to engage your children and a fun way to celebrate Sukkot. For that as well, email Rachel Polanski. We're seeing a theme here, everybody. Email Rachel Polanski for the Zoom information. As well, Ushpizin?
Yes, but also, go ahead.
I'm not sure about the timing.
Okay. Also tonight at 5:45, we have Mincha led by our by Jay Harwitt. 5:45 Mincha and our festival service. So that will be on YouTube Live. You can also do that. And also next Saturday evening at Simchat Torah. We'll have more information early this week about the Hakafot and how that will work virtually. We're very excited to try out some new technology. And this coming week, Rabbi Rotenberg will be interviewing several members of our congregation as real life ushpizing through your screen. I believe that's at 7:30 p.m. Yes. That link will be in the chat provided by Rebecca Small. We want to thank Rebecca for virtual greeting today through our virtual communities.
We know we are throwing so many programs and opportunities your way. We hope that there's something for everyone. The point is that we hope to just celebrate a joyful holiday with every member of our community.
I'll throw in 2 more as well, just because why not? It's Sukkot.
What did you say, Cantor Philman?
I'll throw in a couple more too, just because.
Oh, please, Cantor Philman.
So as we talked during the service, we had a wonderful array of congregants who are reading Torah for us. So if you are a member in good standing and you want to read Torah, you can read Torah. I'm happy to work with you. Our team is happy to work with you. Send me an email. I can help you sign up for Torah readings on Shabbat morning, mfeldman@sinaitemple.org. And also, if you did not get enough of Sukkot services today, join Rabbi Wolpe and I tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., where we will actually wave the lulav, and we will have the Hoshanot. So we invite you to come back for services tomorrow morning at 9 a.m.
Okay.
I think we're
That's
done.
it. That's all I have.
Kiddush in the sukkah?
That sounds great.
Oh, go ahead. Let's do Adon Olam and then we'll do Kiddush. Go ahead.
Adon Olam.
Adon Olam asher malach בטרם כל יציא נברא לית נעשה בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא לית נעשה בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא עודה והוא יהיה בתפארה והוא אחד ואין שני להמשילו להכבירו בלי ראשית בלי תכלית ולא עוז והמשרה בלי ראשית בלי תכלית ולא עוז והמשרה והוא עיני וחי גואלי וצור חבלי בית זרה והוא ניסי ומנוס לי מנת כוסי ביום מקרא בידו אבקין רוחי ביתי שנה ועירה ואם רוחי גביעתי Adonai Ali velo ira. Ay la la ay la 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 ay la 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 ay la 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 ay la 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 ay la 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 ay la 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 ay la la ay la la la.
Ken Barach Adonai et Yom HaShabbat v'kadshehu v'yadaber Moshe et Moadei Adonai el b'nei Yisrael Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu leishev b'sukkah.
I have the hard part. Here we go. And we'll do the Shechianu as we are for the first time in the Sukkah as a community. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al netilat yadayim.
Amen.
We have two here. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen.
Ribono shel olam, Master of the universe, as we sit in our sukkah, as we gather in our sukkah, both over our screens and in person, may we be shaded by the heat. May we be warmed by God's presence under Sukkot Shlomecha as we transition from our fragile state from Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur to our time of joy of Zman Simchatenu. And let us say, Amen. Shabbat Shalom, Chag Sameach.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom, Chag Sameach. See you all this week.
Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom,
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat 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 Shalom, Chag Sameach. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shalom, Shabbat Shabbat and Chag Sameach. Shabbat Shalom, Chag Sameach. Shabbat 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 Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Chag Sameach. Shabbat 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 Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.